This is part 4 of Blender Challenge 13, modeling an isometric room. I'm going to do some work on these things right here. So I'm going to take this guy here, and I think I'm going to scale it in the Y a little bit. And I'm going to take this top face, actually, drag it up a little bit. Okay, so we're going to work on that. Shift H to isolate it. So now I have just that piece. Okay, so now here's what we want to do. I want to create these little indents here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm going to select that face, and I'm going to duplicate it. Shift D, pull it out. P, separate by selection. Go back into object mode, and I now have that. Into edit mode, and S to scale it. And I'm going to bring it up here and scale in the X, and scale in the Z, and in the X again. And make these small pieces here. Okay, now let's press the period key to focus on that. 1 for vertex selection, and I want to round these so it's just a single plane. And so I'm going to do Shift Control B. I'm going to pull, and it splits, and I'm going to roll my mouse up. There's 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now I'm going to extrude in the Y, in the green direction, E, pull it. So I've got some height or thickness to it. I'm going to get rid of the modifiers on there. And I'm going to shade flat. I'm going to pull this in to create an indent. I'll pull it in nice and far like that. Position it. Let's use the array modifier now. And pull it like this. And I'm going to put 4 of these. And they're going to be something like that. Alright, now here's the thing. I'm going to want them on both sides, but I'm going to do it on this side first, and then we'll figure out how to get it on the other side. If I go ahead and just do a straight Boolean on this, I will probably lose my bevel. Let's check that out. Alright, like I said, Booleans can be messy. Let's select the main body here. Now I do have other things on there other than the bevel, but that doesn't matter right now. Let's go Boolean, and let's bring it up to the top. Difference with the eyedropper, select these. Now there may be a couple of things wrong, so let's check it out. First of all, let's take that hide. Didn't work. Alright, let's go back. And before we apply that, let's have a look up here. You'll notice that this stuff is in red. That means I extruded the wrong way. My polys are flipped. Let's go in, select it all, Alt-N, recalculate outside. Now everything is blue. Turn that off. Let's select the main body. Difference, the eyedropper. Let's select that again and watch. Notice that my bevel has changed. If I go ahead and apply that and take this and just hide it, I have some indents and I have a bit of a bevel, but it certainly isn't what I had before. If we go in and look at edit mode, you can see it's all, it's done its job. I'm going to back up. And what I think I'm going to do in a case like this, on the body, and I'll get rid of that for now, is I think I'm going to go ahead and apply the bevel to keep it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to apply that. Now that bevel is in the geometry. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and add my Boolean again. Let's bring it up there. Difference. I'm going to select these and apply, and I'll hide them. Now they're in there, you can't see them very well, and so what I think I will do is we will try to bevel this. So in edge selection, I'm going to start selecting the outer edge of all of this. Okay, and I'm going to try to bevel this by hand. With that done, I'm just select a position that I can see from. Control B, pull, and roll my mouse back to 0, let's say. 1, 2, 3, let's try that. All right, I can see those okay. I'm gonna try to, let's see here, put that on, that on. Another thing I can do is I can take these, let's try just an inset. Let's see if that clears anything up. I think that looks okay so far. So I now have my indents in there. In fact, I might decide to go Control Plus. Maybe I'll do something different here. Maybe we'll scale in the Z a little bit like this. And then I'd also like to scale them in the X, but if I just go SX, it'll do that. If I switch over here to individual origins, it'll treat each section independently. So watch this, SX, do that. That might make it look a little bit better. Okay, so I've got that right there. All right, looks okay. Okay, so now we're going to do some little like bolts here. I'm going to do another Boolean. I'm going to try that. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring in a cylinder, Shift A cylinder. I'll go for like 22 vertices, doesn't have to be anything. I'm going to leave the cap type as N-gon. Scale it down. All right, let's do that again. Let's bring it in where we need it. Let's just choose, how about we choose this vertex right there. And I'll bring a cylinder in there. Shift S, cursor is selected. Now my 3D cursor is there. And I can bring in a cylinder, 22. And it's a lot closer to where I'm going to want that thing. Press the period key to zoom in. Get this, let's rotate X 90. And position it. I don't want it right in the corner. Something like this. Okay, I'm going to go into wireframe so I can see. Yeah, it's embedded nicely. All right. Pull another one over. Take the two of them. Oh, just, yeah, they're pretty small, you know. Let's scale them a bit bigger and pull them down. And maybe we will, let's see, Shift D. Let's drag them down to here. And then maybe we will deselect, select a piece of this one and Control L to select everything, and I'll bring that one into there. My only concern is that I have enough room. Yeah, I think I'm okay. So I now have 4 of those cylinders. They are actually still pretty small. Let's join them. Control J, go in, S, just make them a little bit bigger. Okay, let's make sure the polys are facing the right way. They are. We'll try a Boolean on with this. Select the main body. Boolean with respect to these guys. And we'll go ahead and apply that. Maybe I'll hide. Let's Alt H, just bring everything back. Let's get rid of those. Let's just Shift H, focus on that. Let's take these and hide them. I might use them. Okay, so we have slight indentations. We're going to have to do something about this. The geometry is getting a bit strange here. But let's see. What we really want in order to bevel the outside is we want all of these edges that attach to be pretty much perpendicular to the point it comes out at, if that made any sense. And they don't look too bad so far. Now when I select that, I get this as well. So I'm going to Alt Shift and deselect that. Make sure I've just got the outer ring. And we'll keep trying. We'll get rid of that. I'm holding down Shift and Alt actually. Shift and Alt to get the whole thing. Okay. I should have everything I need. I'm going to zoom in and look at just one of these. And Control B. I'm going to try. I think I still have 3. And that looks okay. I might, well, I'm going to put something in there. Alt H. Okay. Now brought back all that stuff. So let's select this and Shift H just to focus on it. Now let's take these and try. Let's select them. I want to look in wireframe, see how big they are. I don't need them so big. All right. Let's scale these in the Y. SY. I'm in individual origins, so I can edit all of these independently. And then let's take, let's say, this front face on all of them. Make it look a little bit like a bolt. Okay, I've got them all. Just going to come down and focus on one. I'm going to Control B. Okay, that's not working. There we go. Okay, so they're a bit rounded. I'm going to select them all. And I'm just going to hit S to scale. Make it a bit smaller than the whole. And I'm going to, let's scale them in the Y again. And let's move them in the Y, GY. And pull them in. Hold down Shift. And I get that. Not overly noticeable, but maybe if they're a different color, I'll be able to see them. Let's save that. And let's go back and see. You got that? I don't know that I'm going to do that. Now what I'm going to do is I want all that stuff on the other side as well. Let's see if I can do a cut through. I can. Control R right in the middle of that. And so what I'll do is I will, in wireframe and 1 for vertex selection, I will box select by pressing B, all of that, X vertices. I want to mirror this to the other side, but I want to mirror it along this axis. So I'm going to select these vertices and go Shift S, bring my 3D cursor there. Cursor was selected. So now I can mirror with respect to the middle there. I'm going to mirror this in the Y. Turn off the X. I'm going to turn on clipping. And now I have that on the other side. And then these guys, I'm going to try to mirror them as well. Let's set the origin to the 3D cursor. See if a mirror works nicely in the Y for those. I don't need to clip it. And they're in there as well. Okay. I can go ahead and apply that. And I'm gonna go ahead and apply the mirror for that as well. So I have that piece. Let's save. Sometimes I think what I really want is select these. I sometimes think I want it open. I don't know. I won't delete those right now though. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to do this thing and the dials and the top thing. Let's see what happens if we take this. Let's see, Shift D. Do I want to duplicate it? Extrude it up. It doesn't have much of a bevel on it. Do that on as a separate piece. KIMMELLELLIott. I'm gonna break that out and try with a bevel. Shut that off for the moment. I can actually, let's get rid of that edge. X, dissolve edges. I'm trying to decide if I want that. I think I probably do want it as a separate piece. Okay, so what we'll do is Shift H just to focus on that. And I'm going to delete this bottom face. Alt H, bring everything back. And that's sitting on there. That's okay. Not sure if I'm crazy about that structure, but that's probably okay. So that would be there. And sometimes when I do these things, I prefer to do this. Come in and Shift Alt, get that edge, and just bring down like a little bit of it, sort of straight. GZ to move it down in the Z. I'm not sure that I want that or need that, but I might prefer it. I'll just leave it like that for now. Okay, so now let's go in. And if I really wanted to, I could actually dissolve that edge. I don't need that edge. I can select that face itself to make this part here. But I might do it as a Boolean anyhow, and I think I probably will because I want a rounded screen. So let's do that. And then we'll do those and we'll wrap this up. Shift D to duplicate, as always. P to separate. Object mode, take this. Look at this and get the approximate size. Okay. 2 for edge selection and grab this and pull it over. Now what's the shape? A nice rectangle with a bit of space for these dials. Something like that, anyhow. Okay, maybe like that. Okay. Select it all in number 1, vertex selection. Let's give this some curvature. Shift Control B to bevel. I'm going to want 5. Let's redo that. Get a nicer curve like that. Okay. I'm going to indent as usual. Extrude back to give it some thickness. Let's get rid of that on here and any other stuff. I don't need that kind of stuff. Okay, let's pull this into position. A bit of an indent, and then we'll bevel it by hand. So that's going to go in there, and then we'll have some dials. Cool. Okay, so take the main body and let's do Boolean. I'm going to bring it to the top. Difference, I'm going to choose this. Apply, take this, hide, and I've done it again, haven't I? All right. Red, right? Yeah, red. Okay, recalculate outside and repeat. Main body, difference, this guy, apply. Take this and hide it. It's not very noticeable yet. 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click that outer edge. Make sure nothing else is selected. Control B to bevel, pull. I want 3, I think. 1, 2, and that's probably all right. Now we can see that. I was just debating about, if I bring that back, is there any chance that I would want to use this piece as a screen in there? Is that at all necessary? I'm going to get rid of it for now. Okay, Cool. Let's do some dials, and then let's see where we're at. So what do I want? Just, I don't know if they're circles. I don't know if these are squares. We can do whatever we want. Let's just do like 3 circles. Yeah. So let's bring them in sort of close to where we want. So let's select, I don't know, even this. Cursor to select it. Bring the 3D cursor there. Shift A, mesh, circle. Let's go for 18. Just because, not too high, not too low. Let's rotate Y 90 and scale it down. Position it. So I'll do like 2 the same size and 1 smaller maybe. Okay. I think I'll just go F to make a face, E to extrude, pull it back. There's a face on there, so X faces, get rid of that face. And I'll select that face, and I'll go I to inset, and maybe just E to extrude and pull back a little bit, and do that kind of thing. Maybe I'll do control, not 2, but 1 for 1 subdivision. And then grab these edges and bevel with like 1. And then grab this face in the middle and just inset and shade smooth. Do this. I'm going to set the origin to geometry on that. It's a little easier to manipulate and bring it in. I'm going to change the size of this. I'm going to go to edit mode. I'm going to make that one bigger. And I think I will Shift D and G. And maybe it's supposed to be in line. So maybe I have to put both of them over. And then take one of these and Control L to get the whole thing. Shift D, G, pull it here. And how about scale, but not in the X direction? S, Shift X to make it smaller, but not narrower. Select the whole thing. Make sure they're all there. And we have something on there. I could put a different color in there. Let's turn on the cavity shader and even shadow. Let's just make sure see, I felt like something was odd for those guys. Let's select these and Alt N, recalculate outside. Turn off all of this stuff so we get a nice look at this. Turn it back on, and I just think I'll need to move that. All right, so that's what we have so far, and yeah. I think the last thing that I will do before I wrap this up is I will start putting some of this stuff in a collection. I want to show you a way to copy this. In fact, I think I'm feeling like this is too deep, so I'm going to select all these faces. And I'm going to go Control Plus to expand my selection because I had used inset. I'm going to pull these out. I just think that I want it like that. Okay, I'm going to select a whole bunch of this stuff. Everything if possible. I guess I did it on the one side, not the other. I pulled them out on one side, not the other. All right, anyhow, I'm going to press M, New Collection. I'm going to call this Monitor. And I'll just quickly come in here and I'll pull these out in face selection. It doesn't have to be exactly the same on both sides. No one's going to see the both sides at the same time, and so that's all right. Just an oversight. Good enough. Okay, so I have this as a collection called Monitor. If I select it here to select. I can move it, obviously. Let's turn on the statistics and look at my vertex count. Okay, so watch that. If I Shift D to duplicate, let's move it over. You can see it's jumped up. I'm going to delete that. If I was concerned about poly count, I could Shift A, collection instance, monitor, and it's brought in another one, but you'll notice my vertices haven't changed. I can now set the origin to the 3D cursor. Let's see, is that what I want to do? And set geometry to origin. That gets it closer. I can bring that in. And I have an instance of this. Let's just line them up a little bit better. I can copy these to my heart's content. And it doesn't increase my poly count. And if I come to here and I make a change, it'll affect all of them. So that's one nice thing. And then I can just delete it as one thing. So I'll just leave that there as the second one. And this is where we are now, and we'll move on with part 5 and do some more work next time.